What's good, everyone? It's the one and only NY Phenom. If you guys enjoy NFL, NBA content, want to see some gaming content in the near future, give this video a like, and if you're new, go and subscribe to the channel while you're at it. Now let's go on, let's get into this video. Alright, so we got the 2019-2020 Washington Redskins team preview, man. For you guys who haven't seen my Philadelphia Eagles team preview, I did drop that earlier this morning. Make sure you do check that out. And I'm gonna probably drop this the same day. So you guys might get a double NFL team preview upload, man. Man, okay. So you guys already know how this works out. You guys already know how I started off. Started out with the offense, but before I talk about the offense, let's speak about the last year team, the 2018 Washington Redskins. They did finish 7-9 last year. They started off super well. They started off like 4-2, but they just couldn't stay consistent, man. And of course the injuries happened. Of course the Alex Smith injury, one of the most gruesome injuries I've seen. That happened, broke his leg. Colt McCoy came in, actually played pretty decent. He broke his leg. The offensive line, they dealt with injuries. It was just an injury riddled year. So they finished third in the NFC East, and it's a new year, man. Definitely a new year, man. A lot of new faces, and now a lot of new talents. And we're gonna go ahead and speak on it. And we can't speak about the Redskins without mentioning the quarterback situation. Of course, they drafted Dwayne Haskins in the first round with the 15th overall pick. For you guys who don't know, because I didn't make no videos, I wasn't even on YouTube when the NFL draft happened. I wasn't speaking NFL content, but Dwayne Haskins was my favorite quarterback coming out the draft. In my opinion, he's the best quarterback out of the draft. No shade to Kyler Murray, no shade to Daniel Jones, no shade to Drew Lock and Tyrese Jackson and all these other quarterbacks. No shade to them. I just think Dwayne Haskins is the truth. He threw for 50 touchdowns, broke Drew Brees' record in college football. I mean, this dude is so accurate. I mean, he has everything you want of a quarterback. He has the IQ, got the awareness. He's accurate, has a strong arm, can read defenses. He's strong. He's not really a scrambler. I mean, he can scramble for a first down. You know what I'm saying? He's not a good scrambler, but how can I put it? He's almost like Big Ben. If he needs to run, he can give you a 5 to 10 yard run if needed, but that's not his strong suit. I mean, this dude is a professional pocket passer. I love Dwayne Haskins coming out the draft, for real. So I love the draft pick, but you gotta remember, they did trade for Case Keenum in the offseason. Case Keenum has started the past 2 seasons. They still have Colt McCoy, which we're about to speak on, who I think is recovering from his broken leg. He's been recovering really well. He might be ready for week 1. And then technically Alex Smith is still on the roster, but I hate to say this, but we have seen good news. Alex Smith, he's not in that walking boot anymore. He took the cast off. That's good to hear, but it's going to be tough for me seeing him come back. And Alex Smith, in my opinion, I always like Alex Smith. A lot of people used to make fun of him for Deacon Duncan. He was always like a conservative type of player. He would rarely throw it deep, But I always like Alex Smith. I thought he was one of the best game managers in the NFL. Especially we saw how good of a game manager he was in 2017. I mean, early on in that season, he was the early MVP. He had some really good seasons with the San Francisco 49ers. In my opinion, he was playing pretty well before the injury. Hopefully Alex Smith can come back and be a quarterback again, but honestly, I don't see him playing this year. If he plays at all, we'll see, but I especially don't see him playing this upcoming year. So in my opinion, it's a 3-man race. It's Dwayne Haskins, Case Keenum, and Colt McCoy. And this is how I think. Dwayne Haskins, I think Dwayne Haskins is already the better quarterback than all 3 of the quarterbacks I just named. All of them. Dwayne Haskins is already the better quarterback in my opinion. But with them trading for Case Keenum, I expect Case Keenum to come in and be the starter. I don't think that they're going to want to throw Dwayne Haskins in the fire week 1, in my opinion. I mean, they traded for Case Keenum. I think they want to get Case Keenum on the field. I mean, he is the veteran. They want to see what Case Keenum can do. Maybe they can get something out of Case Keenum. Maybe they can get 2017 Case Keenum. But this is what I will say, though. If Colt McCoy comes back healthy week 1, and he's ready to play, he's looking good in training camp, looking good in preseason, I think they're going to roll with Colt McCoy. I think the management, the organization, I think they like Colt McCoy, man. I think they really do. I think they were really impressed last year. I think they liked him as a leader. And I think that they think that they can win with him. And if Colt McCoy is healthy by week 1, I expect Colt McCoy to be out there as a starter. But my prediction is Colt McCoy won't be ready. I don't think he'll be ready until midway through the season, in my opinion. I mean, he did break his leg. I mean, if he's ready by week 1, we'll see. We'll see what's good. I expect him to be a starter if he's healthy by week 1. But I expect Case Keenum to be the starter week 1. I expect Dwayne Haskins to do well in training camp, do well in preseason. But I think they're going to want him to, learn the NFL. Learn the NFL experience. Learn how to be a pro. And be ready to play either year 2, or somehow, God forbid, if an injury happens. But if an injury happens, I think Dwayne Haskins can come in. I mean, in my opinion, I think Dwayne Haskins is already ready to go out there. In my opinion, I think he's already ready to go out there and make an immediate impact on the field. But I don't think they want to rush Dwayne Haskins out there. And plus, you already got players like Adrian Peterson, some of the wide receivers. They're already kind of filling Case Keenum. They're liking Case Keenum in the locker room, so it seems like it's Case Keenum position to lose. So I expect Case Keenum to go out there week 1. I mean, Case Keenum is solid. He's solid. He is what he is. I mean, he's almost in that same mode of Alex Smith. You know what I'm saying? Doesn't have a super strong arm. You know what I'm saying? Decently accurate when it comes to short and immediate passes. Rarely goes deep. I know the Minneapolis Miracle. I know that happened, but Case Keenum, if you watch the tape, he rarely goes deep. He does throw a lot of picks. That's the difference between him and Alex Smith. Alex Smith rarely throws picks, you know what I'm saying? His conservative style really throws picks, but Case Keenum, he tends to throw a lot of picks. I believe he threw the second most interceptions last year besides Big Ben. So, I mean, we'll see what's good, but I expect Case Keenum to go out there and be a starting quarterback for this team. On to the running back position, though. On to the running back position. I really like this running back position, man, to be honest with you. Adrian Peterson, man, it's like Father Time can't catch up to him, man. He ran for 1,000 yards last year. I know a lot of people thought his career was over when he got released by the Saints. Everybody was like his career was over and all, but went to Washington and put mad work in, man. I'm not saying he was 2010 Adrian Peterson, 2011 Adrian Peterson, but dude is still a top 15, top 20 running back in the NFL. I mean, he's just that dude still. And then we can't forget that Darius Geis, he was injured last year. He got injured in the preseason, didn't play one snap in the regular season. He's coming back. He was supposed to be the starting running back going to last season. He was supposed to be one of the top running backs in the draft. He's coming back from a torn ACL. You guys know how I feel about players coming back from injuries like that. I think it takes them a year of full playing time for them to come back to what they were. But I mean, you still got AP there. I think the areas guys you can, kind of let him get in his groove, let him get a few snaps, and he might be where he was coming into the NFL. So you got him and Darius Geis. You still got AP. Also, Chris Thompson. He's a solid third down running back. I liked him coming out the backfield. He can catch a few passes. You know what I'm saying? He's a really good third down back. He's short. He's small, but he's elusive. Really good catching the ball at the backfield. I think he's going to come in, and he's shown that he can make an impact. I like Samajay Purnai. I know I probably butchered that name for real, but I liked him as a power back. I think he's a solid power back. And then you can't forget, they drafted Bryce Love in this draft. And for you guys who don't remember, man, Bryce Love was supposed to get drafted in the last year draft, not this year draft, but the year before. He was supposed to get drafted in that draft. He was actually a first round. He was projected to go in the first round. Decided to stay in college. Got injured. He dropped all the way to the fourth round. So if the Washington Redskins can get a player who was projected to go in the first round, and he shows why he was supposed to get drafted in the first round, you could get a star running back. Bryce Love might turn into a star running back. So this running back situation, the running back core is kind of crowded, in my opinion. It's really crowded because you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 running backs who have the potential to get a lot of playing time. Right? So it's going to be interesting how training camp, how that rolls out. Who's going to really take this position? In my opinion, it's going to be a running back by committee, either way. But you got some players who's going to really try to get as much playing time as they can. I mean, Bryce Love, Chris Thompson, Purnay, they drafted Darius Geis last year to be the star running back of the team. I mean, it's going to be interesting how this plays out. So this the running back core is kind of stacked, but they could give up one of these running backs. So it's going to be interesting how that plays out. The wide receiver position, man, let's speak on that. They drafted Terry McLaurin in the second round. Right, he's going to come in and be the starting wide receiver for this team on the opposite side of Josh Doctson. Right, Josh Doctson is solid. I think he still has a little more potential. Needs to show a little bit more, work on his hands, work on his route running. But he has potential to be a really good wide receiver in the NFL. Paul Richardson, of course, from my Seahawks, he's been known to work that slot. I mean, that's what he does. He's going to come in and be that solid slot receiver, especially since the Washington Redskins, they lost their slot receiver from last year, Jamison Crowder. He really worked that slot out. He's going to the New York Jets. So, I mean, it's going to be interesting how that plays out. But I think Paul Richardson can come in and work that slot easily. Now my sleeper on this team to make an impact day one, who they drafted in, I believe, the fourth round. I could be wrong. Maybe he was drafted in the third round, but I think it was the fourth round. They drafted Kelvin Harmon, and I was watching some of his tape. This dude has potential to be a top possession receiver in the NFL, man. This dude got mad hands. He can run routes. I mean, this dude seems like he can be a top possession receiver for real. I mean, like I said, Josh Doctson, he was drafted in the first round a few years ago. Hasn't really lived up to the potential that he was. Now, he has shown spurts of, being a player in this NFL, but if he comes out inconsistent in training camp and in preseason, not really showing any improvement, I think Kelvin Harmon can come in, and he seems like a player that can come in and make an immediate impact, man. Especially when there's no top receivers on this team, no really standout receivers. I think Kelvin Harmon can come in and be a possession receiver. He's gonna make an immediate impact. I mean, this dude got mad hands. He can catch the ball. He runs good routes. This dude has potential to be a really good receiver in this NFL, man. So I would watch out for Kelvin Harmon to come in and make a day one impact. Now, that's pretty much how I feel about the wide receiver position. It's whatever. I think they could have done some more when it came to this wide receiver position, but they do have those two rookies, especially Kelvin Harmon. Terry McLaurin can come in and make an impact. day one. But I'm especially expecting Kelvin Harmon to come in and make a day one impact. So that's kind of my sleeper. I want to see how that plays out. But they do have Paul Richardson to work that slot. I think the wide receiver position is not that bad, especially if those two rookies come in and make a day one impact. On to the tight end position. In my opinion, one of the best tight end duos in the NFL. You know what I'm saying? I just made my Eagles video. The Eagles might have the best tight end duo in the NFL, but the Redskins are not that far off, man. You got Jordan Reed, who has proven, he's proven that he's a top 10 to top 15 tight end in the NFL, closer to that top 10 area. I mean, Jordan Reed is a monster. We know he's a beast. And they still got Vernon Davis, man. Vernon Davis been in the NFL for a while. I mean, over a decade. And he's still getting things done, man. Vernon Davis was balling out last year. Still one of the most underrated tight ends. I always love me some Vernon Davis ever since he came on with the 49ers. I mean, I've always been a big Vernon Davis fan. And this dude is still a solid tight end, man. Still better than a lot of the starting tight ends in the NFL. I mean, this dude blocks, he catches passes. I mean, he can stiff arm people. He's still a beast, man. So you got two top tight ends. And I'm gonna be real, with the wide receiving position looking kind of shaky, not knowing that the rookies can come in and make a day one impact, not knowing that Josh Doctson is going to improve to the next level. Expect the tight ends, man, to be dominant this year. I'm expecting Jordan Reed to come out and ball out, and I'm expecting Vernon Davis to keep it up. Why would Vernon Davis slow down? He looked good last year. I only expect him to just drop off significantly. Again, so I mean, these tight ends are going to dominate for real. You got Vernon Davis, Jordan Reed. Expect both of them to get around 12 to 13, 14 touchdowns combined. These dudes are going to be for real. They're going to be for real. And then when it comes to the offensive line, of course, you got Trent Williams out there. By the way, Redskins, pay Trent Williams. Your offense, all this good stuff I'm talking about, your offense, the tight end play, your running backs possibly having a few star running backs, maybe those wide receivers pan out to be really good. If you don't draft Trent Williams, or don't draft Trent Williams, what I'm talking about. If you guys don't re-sign Trent Williams or don't pay him his money and he decides to hold out, your offense will fall into crumbles, man. Your offense will devolve for real. Make sure you pay Trent Williams. Trent Williams is one of the best left tackles in the NFL. I mean, he's maybe the most important piece on this team. I mean, we saw the offensive line, they get injured midway through the season last year, and the offense fell off after that. You guys don't pay Trent Williams, it could look bad. It'll look bad really quick. I mean, so you got Trent Williams. As long as y'all pay him, this offensive line should be pretty good. You guys brought in Eric Flowers. A lot of people consider him a bust. I mean, maybe with him being lined up right beside Trent Williams, maybe he can learn a few things from the veteran and maybe develop and get better, maybe live up to some of the potential that he had when he was drafted to New York. You got good right guard play in Brendan Sharif, and you got Moses Morgan, who's a solid right tackle. So this offensive line is actually looking really solid. It's looking really solid. Possibly a top 10 offensive line. Maybe that's pushing it. Definitely top 15. When you got left tackle like Trent Williams, have a good right guard, have another solid right tackle, you might have a top 15 offensive line. So, I mean, this offense as a whole has potential to actually be really solid. I think, I can't really consider the offense underrated because there's so many unknowns about this team. I mean, as much as I like Kelvin Harmon and I think, and I like Paul Richardson out the slot, I mean, it's still a big question on the wide receiver position. What are you going to get out of the rookie Terry McLaurin? Is Josh Doctson going to improve? Is he going to get better? The running back position, what's going to happen? You guys have talent on that running back position. AP, He just proved that he's still a really good running back in the NFL. Darius Geis was one of the most hyped up running back prospects coming out of last year's draft. You got Bryce Love, who you drafted this year, who had potential to be one of the best running backs coming out last year, but he got injured staying in college. Is he going to live up to what he was going to be if he came out last year? Chris Thompson, he's a proven, really good third down back. And I even like the Sammy Puryear as a power back. So they got assets on that running back position. So it's going to be interesting how that plays out in training camp. So as an offense as a whole, I think it's pretty solid. I'm not going to call them a good offense yet because there's some questions out there. I really like the tight end position. I think that's the strongest thing about this offense is the tight end position. But, you still got questions everywhere. You still got questions on the wide receiver spot, questions on the quarterback. Is Eric Flowers going to be a good left guard? And we're going to see how that plays out. You know what I'm saying? But offense, solid. Let's speak on this defense, man. Of course, we want to speak about this defensive line first. De'Aaron Payne showed out last year. I believe he came from Alabama. Really good defensive tackle. Jonathan Allen, solid. You know what I'm saying? This D-line is solid overall. No really big names on the D-line, but you got some young talent on the D-line who can come in and be solid. They're a solid defensive line overall. Speaking about let's keep on going. Speaking about this linebacking core, we can't speak about the linebacking core without speaking about who you guys drafted late in the first round in Montez Sweat. Montez Sweat was actually projected to go in the top 15. He fell late in the first round. So when you get somebody with that type of talent, somebody with that type of upside to rush the passer, you have to jump on that. So that was a really good draft pick. He's probably going to come in and be the starter. Since you guys run the 3-4 defense, he's probably going to be the outside linebacker, one of the outside linebackers for the Redskins. So expect him to come in and make a day one impact rushing the passer. Now, there was some news today that you guys released Mason Foster. Of course, he got injured, so they just got rid of him. Mason Foster, man, that's crazy, man. He has so much potential, man. Hopefully his career is not over, but it's kind of a hole in our team, man. Now you guys did pick up John Bostic, who I like him in the running game. I really like how he stops the run, has good awareness, good awareness as a linebacker, can stop the run. I really like that. He'll come and be a decent linebacker. His coverage skills are kind of iffy, but you really don't have to worry about stopping the run as long as he's in the middle. You guys still got Ryan Kerrigan, who has been a really good linebacker. So you got a Pro Bowl level linebacker right there, Ryan Kerrigan. So overall, this linebacking core actually looks really solid, but the releasing Mason Foster being there is going to take you down a notch, of course. So this linebacking core is solid, but that Mason Foster situation is going to hurt a bit. Moving on to the secondary, though. Now, you guys still do have Josh Norman. Josh Norman kind of had a down year last year. Really wasn't the best year for him. Gave up a lot of plays. It was like his head wasn't straight, but I'm expecting Josh Norman to come out and actually have a pretty decent season. Maybe not interception-wise, but maybe he does have a huge year picking off a few quarterbacks, because I don't think he has that same presence about him that he had in 2016. So I can expect quarterbacks to kind of test him in his area, and maybe quarterbacks get too testy, and maybe he finds a way of taking the ball away. this year. So it's going to be interesting seeing Josh Norman can have a bounce back year. Of course, HaHa Clinton Dixie's not there anymore. Lost him in free agency. But you guys picked up probably my favorite safety. Probably my favorite strong safety in the NFL. One of my favorite defense players in the NFL, Landon Collins. He can play in the box. I love safeties that can play in the box. I mean, this dude's a great run stopper. Pretty good at stopping tight ends in the front. Good. He's just good at tackling and making plays, man. Making winning plays, and that's what you have to. That's what you have to have, man. Especially with this Redskins secondary, man. Last year, it was like everybody was everywhere, and they had talent last year. We can't forget that they had talent last year. They had Norman. They had DJ Swearinger. They had other players there, but nobody was playing together. And I think Landon Collins is going to come in and be that. He's going to be that leader in that secondary. You know what I'm saying? He's going to make the tackles, make the necessary plays, and he's going to make plays out there. You know, that's what he does. You know, he might not pick off players. That's not what he does. He's not an interception guy, but you know what I'm saying? He's going to lay the hard hits. He's going to stop players going through the middle, and he's going to make the winning plays, and that's what the Redskins need. And so I really love that pickup. People are talking about they paid way too much for Landon Collins. People won't be saying that this year when he's damn near leading the team in tackles. I mean, this is what he does. So I like that pickup, for real. I really like that pickup. The other cornerback situation besides Josh Norman is kind of sketchy. You know, it's kind of sketchy. I gotta keep it a buck. But they did bring DRC back. They brought DRC back from retirement. I always liked Dominic Rodgers-Cromartie. You know, he's always around the ball, always making plays. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he leads the team in interceptions. I can honestly see that. But, I mean, besides that, the secondary still looks kind of sketchy. It still looks kind of sketchy besides that. So it's going to be interesting to see how everything plays out, man. It's going to be interesting to see how everything plays out. But as a defense as a whole, the defense as a whole, it's solid. You know what I'm saying? Solid. You got a few players on the D-line that can make some plays, right? D-line, solid. Linebacking core, solid, in my opinion. Secondary, some question marks, but at the end of the day, you guys picked up Landon Collins. I'm expecting a bounce back year from Josh Norman. Maru, I guess he's a solid cornerback, right? So, a secondary, in my opinion, is solid. It's just a solid defense, right? Not a top 15, not a top 10 defense, in my opinion. Maybe a top 15 defense around that 15 to 16 range. A solid defense, man. Now, this defense is rolling, and everybody's playing together. They got some good chemistry on the defensive side. This could possibly be a top 10 defense, right? They do have some talent on there, but at the end of the day, I'm gonna say a solid defense, right? So we talked about the defense, talked about the offense. Now it's time to rank the teams, man. And last year they went 7-9, messed out in the playoffs, got really close. You know, they were in playoff contention for most of the year, but like I said, injuries and team chemistry kind of derailed this team. So I'm gonna put them in tier 3 this year, man. I'm gonna put them in tier 3. I think they're a solid average team this year. There were some pickups I liked. There were some losses that I really didn't like. Like the Zach Brown loss, I think it's gonna come back and hurt them. As much as I like John Bostic, he's not Zach Brown, right? Mason Foster just released him, so I mean, there's some spots on this team that, you know, are kind of shaky, right? We spoke about the wide receiver core. They're gonna need some rookies to step up, right? The quarterback situation, of course, is a question mark. Even though, in my opinion, Dwayne Haskins is definitely the best player, definitely the best quarterback in the draft. I only expect him to play year 1. So, I mean, it's going to be an interesting year. I could see another 7-9 year, but in my opinion, I don't see them taking that next step. So, that's just my opinion. Redskins Nation, How do you guys feel about it? Do you guys feel that y'all tier 3 team? Do you guys feel that y'all tier 2, tier 1 team? Do you guys feel that y'all can make the playoffs? Hell, do you guys think that y'all gonna win the division? I want to see what y'all guys think, but that's pretty much all I really have to say, man. Maybe you guys prove me wrong, but we'll see how things happen, man. But that's pretty much all I really got to say, man. If you guys enjoy NFL, NBA content, want to see some gaming content in the near future, give this video a like, and if you're new, go and subscribe to the channel while you have it. I'm the Phenomenal One, and I'm out. Deuces.